Christian Cowan. We're here on your February cover shoot for In the Know. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I've got my nails done. Things are looking good.
Is there a moment or a look or that either somebody in your life wore or you saw somebody in a magazine wearing that just kind of stuck with you and sort of was like, okay, I want to make that?
There's a few moments, I would say, that kind of compounded my interest in fashion. The first being my mother. And then honestly, when I was like 14, 15, Gaga first broke out with her first tracks. And as like a queer closeted kid in the countryside, she was like this huge, just exciting expression of creativity that I just was so inspired by. I remember watching the music videos over and over and over again, and I think that was really like what set it off. Do you remember she would wear those like crystal geode dresses, and that all felt like, not that I could remotely make it how it was done on her, but I felt like I could, and I felt like I didn't need to know how to like sew at the beginning. I could just glue it together, and it was that creativity that she kind of sponsored in all her fans that I think has impacted so many people.
But with Cardi B specifically, though, I mean, she's wearing one of your looks in her album cover. You dressed her before Bodak Yellow. Something about that really works.
One, I just think she's amazing. I
Yeah.
think she's so talented, but also she's the nicest person and has always been that from the beginning till when I bump into her at things now. She's still just so lovely and takes the time to congratulate you on things. You're kind of like, oh my gosh, you knew that I did that. And then I think for me, being inspired by them, it's like female rappers embody confidence on a whole new level, which is what I'm so inspired by. My mother is a really confident, strong woman, and even though they're so different, I kind of see that same energy in Cardi and so on. So yeah.
And you describe kind of your brand as being inspired by New York nightlife, but also being for the sax woman. And I'd love if you could just speak a little bit more to that and sort of where do those two things meet and how do you see them working together?
I think inspiration-wise, growing up in the middle of nowhere in the UK, I dreamed of that New York nightlife and I idolized it in such a way, and I would look at all the old pictures and I'd be so inspired that that was always going to be part of the identity. And then fusing the two, I've really found that wealthy customer who wants to spend a lot of money on clothing or the customer who doesn't want to spend as much, they both want that fun, creative kind of spirit at the heart of it. That's what they're really excited by. So if you can find a way to translate that into beautiful textiles, into a fit that's really flattering, something that works for all age groups, then you've kind of already hit the kind of Saks Fifth Avenue and the creative club kit.
You recently released the Christian Cowan Essentials line, and that's a pretty big departure from the ready-to-wear collections that we've seen you show season after season. Why did you try to do this now, and what about it felt right for the expansion of your brand?
Well, I found it interesting. I released that campaign and some of the images showed two men being like romantic, and we've actually had a sponsor pull out of sponsoring our show because they felt the images were too like erotic, which I think is nonsense because let's face it, if it was a man or a woman, no one would be saying anything. So I think that's a prime example of like where we have to show our values and then if something else falls through. But in terms of the campaign, it was just important for me to have stuff that other people can access and purchase. We want stuff that is for people who can't afford a $5,000 dress but still want to be part of the fantasy.
So I'm just going to name some of the people that have worn some of your clothes or you've dressed them or you've worked with them. What's the first thing that comes to mind from one of those moments? Paris Hilton.
Major, like that's hot. She walked my first ever fashion show, which isn't really online anymore, and she supports.
Sweetie, Met Gala.
Oh my gosh, two words come to mind. Genuine and also stress. Because the Met Gala was put like 2 days after my show and we changed the gown it was like more like 30 hours before the Met, so we had to make a whole new gown.
Miley Cyrus.
Trusting, and that sounds cheesy, but in terms of she really allows you to do you. And then I remember once I was dressing her for The Voice and she was like, come to the show, and I went there and in the ad break she made the whole arena applaud for me for making her outfit. Like I was like, that's so sweet. You didn't need to.
She did not have to do that.
Did not have to even invite me.
Lil Nas X.
Just love. Like we just creatively align so much, and Hodo, his creative director and stylist, is awesome, and we did a whole collection together in the pandemic and it was so much fun.
Beyonce.
Beyonce is the word, like it's the queen.
That's
like,
the ultimate.
Yeah, like I remember when we dressed her, I was like, we've done it now. We can relax.
Real Housewives.
I don't even have one word, like just love. They're so our customer, and also there's not many other shows on anything in pop culture that show women in their like 50s and 60s
Exactly.
being like all about them, being independent, strong, confident. So where that show sometimes gets hate, I don't understand, because I think they're fabulous.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I love it. And Lisa Renner naked for our campaign was everything.
Gaga.
Oh my gosh, just the best. I mean, she's creativity and support. Like, that's another person who really allows you to do your creative vision. They're there to support you in whatever way. Just Gaga.
Gaga.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect way to end it. Christian Cowan, this is so fun. And thank you again for being our cover star.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was awesome.